Welcome to Chasing Curiosity TV. Subscribe and press the bell icon for more updates. Breaking news: tensions have erupted in the South China Sea, sending shockwaves across the region and beyond. The world's attention is now fixed on this volatile flashpoint as the situation escalates by the hour. Earlier today, a Philippine resupply vessel was intercepted by multiple Chinese Coast Guard ships near the contested Second Thomas Shoal, a remote but strategically vital reef. Eyewitness reports and video footage confirm that Chinese ships fired powerful water cannons at close range, severely damaging the Philippine vessel and leaving several Filipino crew members injured and shaken. This is no longer a simple maritime dispute, it's a direct and dangerous confrontation between two nations, with the potential to spiral out of control. Across the Philippines and around the globe, people are watching anxiously, gripped by uncertainty and fear over what might come next. The incident took place well within the Philippines' exclusive economic zone, making it a clear act of intimidation and a violation of sovereign rights under international law. Manila has swiftly condemned the attack, calling it a blatant violation of international law and demanding accountability. Beijing, meanwhile, insists it was merely expelling what it calls an intruder from its claimed waters, deepening the diplomatic rift. In Washington, U.S. officials are on high alert, reiterating that any armed attack on Philippine vessels could trigger the U.S.-Philippines Mutual Defense Treaty, raising the stakes for all involved. This is a red line, a warning to all parties that further escalation could have serious, far-reaching consequences. Intelligence assets from multiple countries are now focused on the shoal, tracking every movement, as the world wonders if the United States will be drawn directly into the conflict. China has tightened its blockade around the BRP Sierra Madre, a rusting Philippine warship intentionally grounded years ago to serve as a military outpost and symbol of sovereignty. Filipino sailors stationed on the Sierra Madre depend on these dangerous resupply missions for food, water, and medicine, essentials for their survival in this isolated outpost. By attacking and blocking supply boats, China is attempting to starve out the garrison, a slow-motion siege that tests the resolve of the Philippine military and government. Allies like Japan, Australia, and the European Union have voiced strong support for the Philippines, calling for restraint and respect for international law. But statements and diplomatic pressure alone may not be enough to halt the aggression or change the facts on the water. This incident is rapidly becoming a test of the global maritime order and the effectiveness of international institutions. Does international law truly matter, or will might make right in the South China Sea? That answer is being decided in real time, with the world as witness. For now, the courage and determination of a handful of Filipino sailors stand as a powerful symbol, holding the line against the ambitions of a superpower as the world waits to see what happens next. The BRP Sierra Madre is no ordinary warship. Its battered silhouette stands as a silent sentinel in the vast expanse of the South China Sea. This rusting relic was deliberately grounded in 1999 on the remote Second Thomas Shoal, a strategic move by the Philippines to assert its territorial claim. Now, its decaying hull serves as a makeshift military outpost, a stubborn symbol of the Philippines' enduring presence and sovereignty in these contested waters. For the handful of Marines stationed here, the ship is more than just a post, it's the last, fragile line of defense against encroachment. The Sierra Madre stands as a daily rebuke to China's sweeping claims, a constant reminder that the Philippines will not yield easily. Every day the Philippine flag flutters defiantly above the rusted deck, each sunrise marking another small victory for Manila and a persistent thorn in Beijing's side. China wants the ship gone, and its Coast Guard applies relentless pressure, circling and blockading, hoping to force a retreat. Life aboard is harsh, cramped quarters, meager rations, and the constant threat from circling Chinese ships. The Marines endure storms, isolation, and the ever-present risk of confrontation. Yet, the Marines' mission remains clear and unwavering. Stay, hold the line, and never abandon their post. Their presence is crucial. It prevents China from seizing the shoal and constructing yet another artificial island, which could further tip the balance of power. Over time, the Sierra Madre has become a powerful symbol of national pride, uniting Filipinos at home and abroad. Stories of the Marines' resilience and sacrifice inspire the nation, fueling a sense of unity and determination. Despite being outnumbered and outgunned, these Marines refuse to be bullied, standing firm in the face of overwhelming odds. The fate of this rusting ship is now inseparable from the Philippines' struggle for sovereignty and self-determination. If the Sierra Madre falls, many fear it could trigger a chain reaction, paving the way for China to dominate the region and redraw maritime boundaries. The world's attention is fixed on this rusting outpost, watching closely as tensions simmer and stakes rise. Its survival is not just a test of Manila's resolve, but a challenge to the international community. Will they stand by or stand up for the rules-based order in these contested seas? The Filipino sailors on resupply missions are lifelines, essential to maintaining a presence in contested waters. They brave treacherous waters under constant threat, navigating through storms and unpredictable seas. Videos show Chinese ships executing dangerous maneuvers, often coming perilously close to Filipino vessels. Water cannons roar, drenching decks and risking lives, as they are used to intimidate and deter. This is real danger, not just geopolitics. The tension is palpable and the stakes are high. Crews face injury or death every trip, yet continue out of duty and courage, driven by a sense of purpose. Many are civilians, fishermen and contract sailors, driven by loyalty to their country and comrades, willing to risk everything. Their bravery is the human face of the conflict, inspiring a nation and reminding the world of their resolve. In Washington, admiration for Filipino courage is mixed with concern over escalating tensions. The U.S.-Philippines Mutual Defense Treaty is being tested as incidents push the definition of armed attack, challenging diplomatic norms. Water cannons aren't bullets, but they're used as weapons, causing damage and fear. U.S. officials warn that attacks on Philippine public vessels could trigger the treaty, a serious implication for international relations. The U.S. must support its ally without being dragged into war, balancing diplomacy and military readiness. Every statement is scrutinized by Beijing, adding layers of complexity to the geopolitical chessboard. The Philippines needs more than words. Joint patrols, intelligence, and aid are now essential to ensure security and stability. The actions of these crews force the U.S. to decide how far it will go to defend its promises, testing the limits of alliances. The fate of alliances and credibility is at stake, as nations watch closely, waiting to see how this geopolitical game unfolds. Second Thomas Shoal is a tripwire. One incident could escalate into a global crisis. A lethal exchange, even accidental, could force Manila to invoke the Mutual Defense Treaty, putting Washington on the spot. China is testing U.S. resolve, betting America won't risk war over a remote shoal. The U.S. fears backing down would embolden China elsewhere. It's a high-stakes game of chicken, with warships and human lives. Nationalism in China, the Philippines, and the U.S. limits leaders' ability to de-escalate. History shows how small sparks can ignite great wars. This standoff involves contested territory, fierce nationalism, and powerful alliances. The difference: two nuclear-armed superpowers are now involved. The fate of the world could hinge on what happens at this rusted ship. The stakes are global. The Philippines sits at a strategic crossroads, part of the first island chain that fences in China's coast. For China, breaking through is key to projecting power into the Pacific. For the U.S., the Philippines is a vital anchor for regional security. Losing access would cripple America's ability to project power in Asia. The geography alone makes the Philippines indispensable. The waters are rich in fish and potentially vast oil and gas reserves, vital for both nations. China wants resources and influence. The U.S. offers security and shared values. Manila is caught in the middle, navigating great power competition. Losing the Philippines would be a strategic disaster for Washington, a victory for Beijing. The future of the Indo-Pacific hinges on Manila's choices. The world is watching. Before warships, these waters belonged to Filipino fishermen, providers for generations. Now they face daily intimidation from Chinese vessels in their own waters. Stories of harassment, nets cut, boats rammed, catch stolen, are common. This is a systematic campaign to displace them and assert control. Despite danger, fishermen refuse to be intimidated, sailing into contested areas with pride. They act as the nation's eyes and ears, reporting Chinese movements. Their courage has galvanized public support and fueled a new wave of nationalism. The fishermen's struggle is about more than fish. It's about dignity and sovereignty. Their resistance is a quiet but powerful assertion of national rights. The fight for the sea is now personal for millions of Filipinos. China's campaign is a masterclass in gray zone tactics, using Coast Guard militia and fishing fleets to change facts on the water. By using non-military ships, China creates ambiguity and plausible deniability. This paralyzes adversaries, making military responses seem disproportionate. Each failed resupply or displaced fisherman strengthens China's control. The economic impact on the Philippines is severe. Fishing and energy industries suffer. No company will invest where Chinese harassment is constant. Economic coercion is a powerful tool, making resistance costly. China also uses disinformation and political pressure to isolate Manila. The goal: convince the Philippines that accommodation is the only option. It's a multi-front assault on sovereignty and willpower. Facing relentless pressure, the Philippines has pivoted, strengthening its U.S. alliance and building new partnerships. Under President Marcos Jr., Manila has expanded U.S. base access and revitalized security agreements. Joint military exercises now serve as a visible deterrent. The Philippines is also forging closer ties with Japan, Australia, and European powers. Joint patrols and new agreements signal a united front. Manila's transparency campaign, publicizing confrontations, counters China's narrative. Journalists now document Chinese harassment in real time. This strategy rallies global opinion to Manila's side. The Philippines is reframing itself as a small nation standing up to a bully. Its diplomatic and information campaign is proving highly effective. The Philippines stands at a crossroads. Its choices will shape Asia's future. One path: deeper alignment with the US and allies, upholding a rules-based order but risking confrontation. The other: accommodation with China, trading sovereignty for short-term gains. Critics warn this would make the Philippines a client state, surrendering its rights. A new assertive nationalism is rising, especially among the youth. This gives leaders space to pursue a stronger defense policy. The country is modernizing its military, building deterrence. The Philippines' struggle is a bellwether for the region. If it succeeds, others may follow. If it bows to China, US credibility suffers. The future of a free Indo-Pacific may be decided here. The world is watching the choices of this island nation. The stakes could not be higher.